So here we go. Is the relation a function? Is the relation a function?
Yes.
Well, you didn't know the other just a minute ago. I looked at it.
Tell you why? Because
I'm dying to hear.
the y value and not the x.
Okay. So if you look at the y values, you get confused because the 6 and the 6 show up twice. You're thinking that's a problem. But since no x value repeats, is it a function? The answer is yes, it is. Now, what's the domain of that function? -2, -1, 1/2, 3, and 5. You write it just like that. Now, question. Can you write that as -2 to 5 and go like this?
Yeah. No. Let me tell you why I know.
Tell me why no.
Because, that's
I'm asking.
I'm saying no.
Why?
That means it includes all the numbers from -2 to 5.
This means it includes everything from -2 to 5. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the decimals, all the fractions, all the irrational numbers. That includes pi. Right? That includes everything. I'm not trying to make you hungry. Just letting you know it includes pi. All right. So you have to write it this way. What's the range? -2. You don't have to put them in order. As long as you got them all written down there, that's fine. -2, -1, 0, and 6. Question, can we write it as -2 to 6? Nope, for the reasons we just mentioned. Okay. Any questions on that? We straight? All right, how'd you find out from -4? Matthew, how'd we find out from -4? Okay. Oh, God. Jessica. Yeah, I skipped you. Jessica. Well, I don't know what the answer is, but how'd you do it? Take your -4 and plug it everywhere there's an x, right? Except here you're going to have to plug it in twice because there's x squared, right? So we got -4 squared plus 3 times -4 plus 2. 16 minus 12 plus 2 is 6. Wayne, did you get 6? Good. You'll get that question correct then. Hey, just out of curiosity, bonus question. You know what? We're going to make this the official bonus question of the day. Bonus question. I do graffiti. Find the domain of f of x. When you think you have an answer, raise your hand. You have no holds barred. When you think you have an answer, raise your hand. Not quite. If you think you have an answer, raise your hand. Do you have an answer? It is -infinity to infinity. Jesus! Hear the word. Right? There's no fraction. There's no fraction. If this is 1 over x squared plus 3x plus 2, just put, don't want 100 anyway. Okay? Because you ain't getting it. Don't worry about it. Not right now. Later on, we'll deal with that. But right now, we're not dealing with that. Come on, watch. Let's try. Later on, we'll deal with it. Right now, I ain't dealing with it. Okay? I haven't even talked to you about how to solve that yet. So, I got to read ahead a little bit. Maybe I'll do it over the weekend. I'll read how to solve that. Okay? But for right now, negative infinity to infinity. Okay? What's your name? Brian again. Next time it's called a Bryant. All right. We may have a double bonus question day. How did we solve this? I feel like my mother right there. How did we solve this? Like we actually did it. I didn't do it. You did it. How'd you do it? Okay, so what she said was she multiplied the top by 3 and the bottom by -2. Now, you have to excuse my ignorance. Okay? I just bought a degree online, so just excuse my ignorance. I'm only kidding. I might get fired for that, but it was a joke. Why did you choose 3 and 2? Okay, so because 3 times 2 is 6x, and this is -6x, they would cancel out, and that's why you chose 3 and 2. Were there any other numbers you could have chosen? Can you just give me one of them? I'll write it a different color.
We did -4 and +5.
Not -4. Right? Now, you don't want to do -4 here because you want to do +4, +5. Why? Because 4 times -5 is -20. 5 times 4 is 20. They'll cancel out on their own. Okay, so we needed the negative there because those won't naturally cancel because the signs are different. I need a big eraser, excuse me. Sometimes in life you just got a big eraser. For math or anything else. Okay. 6x minus, yikes, 15y equals 18. -6x minus 8y equals +28. Do we agree? Adding straight down. -23y equals, looks like 46. Dividing by -23, dividing by -23, y equals -2. What happened? What happened?
Oh, I was doing right until I did something wrong.
Do you see what you did? Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, where do you plug the -2 in at? This, to me, is always a really, really funny thing. Students go, okay, I got the -2. Do I plug it in here? 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 Where does -2 go? And the answer is it can go anywhere you want it to go. Any of those equations, you just plug it in. Now, I had an instructor tell me when I was a student, that was like 10 weeks ago, that, be careful plugging into here because in case you did this wrong, you don't want to plug it into a wrong equation. At the time, I didn't understand it. Now I don't understand it. If this is not right, there's a really good chance this answer is wrong to start with. And where you plug the wrong answer into, I don't know that makes a whole lot of difference. Okay? Just plug it in wherever you want to. Okay? I'm going to go back and I'm going to use, I'll tell you which equation I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one. Okay? And there's a reason why I'm going to use it. 3x plus 4 times -2 equals -14. The reason why I'm using this one is because I don't like the minus signs. So I just tend to trick with anything that's plus. Okay? That's just me personally. I mess up minus signs all the time. 3x minus 8 equals negative 14. Add 8, add 8. 3x equals negative 6. X is equal to negative 2. The answer is negative 2, negative 2. Bada bing, bada boom.
So when you write down the answer, you always write it as an ordered pair, not
Yeah.
x equals y.
I'd give you credit if you wrote x equals y equals. But yes, it's an ordered pair. Any questions on that? All right. This is a good one. X plus y equals what? 2200. You remember I told you yesterday that we start off with x plus y equals sum total? Well, x is the number of children who go, y is the number of adults who go. All total, the number of adults and the number of children is 2200. Now, let me make an observation for those of you at home who are listening and for those of you who are here. You cannot have a negative number of children. Like, I've given this problem on a test and people are like, well, looks like 3,000 people, adults went, and negative 800 children went. They left. That's a hell of a system right there. The park gives you money back for the children leaving. Your kids are going to be here. Here's $4. Go somewhere else. All right. I mean, I think it's happened at a few buffets I've been to, but, you know, I can't remember ever just getting money back. Okay. So it's got to be somewhere between 0 and 2,200. Okay. $1.50 is each child ticket, so 1.5x plus 4y equals 50/50. Okay. Some of you will say, how come you didn't do 1.50? 1.50 and 1.5 is the same thing. I'm just trying to keep it smaller. Okay. Multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10. X plus y equals 2,200. 15x plus 40y equals 50,500. Do we agree? Now again, I'm not calling you out, but I'm calling you out, Jessica. You can solve for y if you want to and do substitution. You can solve for x and do substitution if you want to. Whatever you feel most comfortable with, it's up to you. I personally think elimination is the easiest, so I tend to kind of gravitate towards that. I'm going to multiply by negative 15, negative 15, negative 15, and that's going to get rid of the x's. Okay. So this is going to be negative 15x minus 15y equals 2,200 times 15. 2,000 times 10 is 20,000. Or 22,000, I guess. And then, is that 33,000? I'm good. Ever insult me like that again? Huh? Adding straight down, you're going to get 25y equals 17,500. So you know my degree is legit.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, when you constantly doing that, sometimes you have brain farts.
Not me, thank you. Divide by 25, divide by 25. For those of you that didn't hear that at home, he just insulted me again. It's okay. You're fine, dude, I don't care. What do I get? 17,500 divided by 25. Y is 700. So, looks like 700 adults. It looks like 700 adults took how many children? Woo, buddy. It's a lot. As you would correctly point out, it's just a little over 2 kids per person. That's a lot. That says so the person who doesn't have any kids.
That's Legoland, though.
You take 2 kids somewhere, just forget about it. No, ever again. And if they're 15, you won't go anywhere with them. You get the right answer? There are a lot of roads that get you to Tampa. I-4 is the fastest. That's fine too. I mean, I'm almost Bryant. You know, you got the bonus question. How do you do it, Bryant? I won't even repeat what he just said.
No, because I do percentage-wise. Like, I can do percentage.
He just violated the 11th commandment. In the Bible, there's 10 commandments. Now there's the 11th one. Thou shalt not just plug in numbers and try to figure out the answer.
You got me an answer about that. I should do that. And going through all the whole steps.
Moving on. Hey, Brian, that on the test when it says show your work, doesn't mean show me how you plug in numbers and try to get to the answer. Just so you know. Okay? I will drop the hammer heavy and hard. All right. And then I'll tell you I love you afterwards. That way you don't get mad at me. All right. So we have our last little pharmacist problem here. All my nurses pay attention to this kind of nonsense. This is what y'all do. This is why y'all get paid so much more than I do. Okay? We've got 30% mixture. We've got 80% mixture. So x plus y has to equal some total. What is that total? 100.
Which is represented by liters, right?
It's all good. 0.3x is 30% of x. 80% of y equals 50% of the total. You remember yesterday I told you that it was always, that in most cases we had x plus y equals some total amount, and then we'd have something x plus something y equals some portion of the total or some total value. Okay. All right, multiply through by 10, you can clear the decimals. And let's see what we get. X plus y equals 100. 3x plus 8y equals 500. Now, I'm sure Bryant just threw numbers around. I don't care.
Because
It's 10 times 0.3 is 3. 10 times 0.8 is 8. 10 times 0.5 is 5. Times 100 is 500. Where does this 100 come from?
that's the total liters.
It's 50% alcohol, and it's 100 total liters. Okay. That's a great question. You win best question, best answer today. The question was, how come we're not doing, if we do 10 times the 0.5, how come we're not doing 10 times the 100? And the answer is, if I want to know what 8 times 5 times 2 is? What is the answer? 80, right? And how do you do that? 8 times 5, then times 2. Now, how come you don't do 8 times 5 is 40, 8 times 2 is 16? And when I say that, you go like this. Well, that's stupid. Why the hell would you do that? That's just not how you do it. But what happens is, because this is 0.5 times 100, I'm only doing 10 times this side. There's no plus there. You see, if it were 0.5 plus 100, I would do 10 times this and 10 times that because of the plus sign in the middle. But since it's multiplication, this is all one piece.
Okay, so is that like a general rule?
Yeah. Since it's multiplication, it's all one piece. You just got to do 10 times one portion of it. Okay?
Oh, okay, it's the same number.
But that's a great question because I see a lot of people who do the 10 everywhere. And it makes sense. Like if I told you to do it that way, you'd be like, that sounds good. That's what he said to do. But it's just not right. All right, multiplying by -3, you'll clear the x's. So you'll have -3x minus 3y equals -300. Okay. Adding straight down, these cancel by design. 5y equals 200. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Y is equal to 40.
So then you would plug it back into the 3x plus 8y. What would you put the y plus 3x plus 8 parentheses 40?
You could plug it in there, or quite possibly might be easier if you plug it in right there. X plus y equals 100. If 40 liters are one thing, then the other one must be. The other one is 60. Okay. Any questions on that? Can you see it okay, ma'am? Yeah. Liza, right?